before we start, I want you guys to ask yourself, like, for all the people that are going to stay, right? If all 234 people are going to stay, I want you guys to think of something. To all the people that are going to stay for our lesson, I want you guys to think of something throughout this lesson, right? This lesson is going to teach you the reason you got into art. This is going to also teach you the reason you stopped doing what you did, the reasons you might have stopped or given up, and maybe also tell you what stage you are in and what you should do next. So these is going to be the stages of your learning process in art in general. Okay, keep that in mind. I want you guys to think of the reason that you got into art, right? That is the big thing that I want you to learn. Why did you become an artist? And I want you guys to hold on to that because we're going to talk about that, and it's going to come as a serious factor towards the end of the career lesson. So let's talk about that first, and let's start with our lesson for tonight. So, stages of learning in an art career, according to me. According to Rodcon. Now, let me give you guys a little background as to why I can kind of give you guys this sort of information, right? So I went to art school. I was not a naturally talented artist. I was not also a person that started out in the art world. I was not a person that was born into it, and I'm not talented and skilled enough to say that I'm a natural born artist. I'm just a hardworking person, and I am a very driven and very stubborn human being. So the process that I'm going to explain to you guys is through my understanding of processes and from seeing and mentoring easily over 100 people at this point. Right. So I take databases from each one of the people that I have ever mentored or taught, and I normally keep track of the type of mannerisms that people have and the behaviors that seem to be a pattern in order for me to be able to come up with better understanding of lessons and be able to teach things better to people. So keep that in mind. And also remember the very basic concept of this. Right? If you try to teach a fish how to climb a tree, it's going to think it's dumb its whole life. Okay? Do not try to force an understanding of a topic if you don't understand it, right? If something is not making sense, it's because you have not achieved that level of understanding yet. It does not mean you're dumb. It does not mean you are not meant for this. It does not mean that you are not capable of doing what other people are doing. It just means that you need to understand it in a different way. So that is something that I want you guys to keep in mind as we progress through these little lessons, because not everybody is going to be exactly in the same boat, and not everybody is going to be relating in the same way. But these are also processes that I see multiple people fall into. So if you don't fall into this, please hit me up on Instagram if you guys want to find out where your path is, and I will give you guys a quick assessment test that you guys can do in order to find out where you lay and what you should do next to get better. But let's start. So having said what we need to say at first, boom, then let's go on to our stage one. So stage one of our career when we start learning is essentially when we are children, when we are like little tykes, right? When we get a hold of any sort of material like a crayon or anything, and we are just scribbling with both hands. We don't even know what hand direction is good for us. We don't know what's right. We don't know what's wrong. We just start drawing and doodling and scribbling. Okay. There's no concept of any anatomy, there's no style, there's nothing like that. We are literally just drawing because we just like to doodle. Okay, so at this stage, we are literally maybe babies, maybe toddlers, maybe like really young in age, but we are constantly having a ton of fun just creating things with our doodles, right? So at this stage, you have scribbles, exploration of your imagination, and literally you just have fun. At this point, it's just pure fun. There's nothing like abstracting you from the fun. Maybe you get like told that you shouldn't be painting on the walls and stuff like that, but overall it's just mostly fun, and you don't have to worry about anything, right? There's no pressure of a career, there's no stress, nothing. At this stage, it's just pure love for doing little scribbles and art. Stage 2, we age a little bit, right? We grow up a little bit. Step 2 is normally when we start drawing our basic shapes. And we start using these basic shapes to represent things in our career, like in our vision. Maybe we use triangles to draw trees, boxes to draw the trunk. We use boxes and triangles to come up with houses, right? We use circles and boxes to come up with people. So at this point, we use basic shapes, and we use those to integrate to things that we see in iconic manners. Right. So at this stage, we are starting to also build a very basic essence of our mental library. But at this point, it's not even important to us. We just kind of draw things that are in front of us, and we don't really have much. I'd say this would be around the age, if you had to be conservative, like around the age of 4 to maybe 6. Right? And this is more like the age of like 0 to like 3. Now, this is relevant only if you have been a lifelong person. You'll realize as well, we're going to talk about the learning curve of somebody that decides to make it into a career later in life, or a person that decides to do it as a lifetime. You will realize that a person that has done it for a lifetime does not necessarily have a very big gap in skill on the person that doesn't, because there's a big factor that comes into play, and I'll tell you guys about it in a second. All right, so step 3. To get to step 3, I need you guys to hit that heart button and hit that like button and hit that share button, because you guys love me and you guys want me to be able to be seen by everybody in the world. So hit that heart button, hit that share button, make me super, super popular so I can teach more people and maybe become a teacher for a living. Yay, because you guys love me. Okay, so just make sure to hit those, okay? Hit those. Hard. There you go. I'll leave that there. So, you have a question. Silly Puppet, what's your question? He will tell you it's just a marker he had in the drawer, and to use what you have. Yeah. You don't need expensive art materials. My art materials consist of a highlighter. That's not an expensive highlighter. These are any pink highlighter. A pen, which is just a normal big pen, like the cheap ones that you find like for $1 million for like $1. And then a little grip pen. That's just like something that they sell at like Amazon. Like they sell it at any art store. Like it's just so my hand doesn't get tired. So I use that, and I use Post-its. And the sketchbooks are a very important aspect of it, and these are Danique sketchbooks. I normally use Illo sketchbooks, but we just finished one this last session, so I'm waiting for my new one to come in. So these are the sketchbooks that I use. They're beautiful sketchbooks, and they're very resistant, and they open all the way. That's my more valuable trait. The marker. Oh yeah, this is just a Stabilo Boss. They sell these in by boxes, for cheap. So you can get those relatively well. I like them. Okay, so let's go to stage 3, and you guys, yeah, you guys hit that share button, you guys hit that like button, and you guys are loving me. So let's go to step 3. Step 3 is that stage where we are getting good enough to draw things, but it's because we start copying other people's art, right? We start seeing things that we like, I don't know, like Dragon Ball or anime, and we start copying that artwork, right? We start taking our basic knowledge skills, right? And we start applying those to what we think is really, really cool artwork. A lot of the times when you do draw like this, you end up with muscles that are just circles, and you end up with like really bad anatomy because there's no anatomy. You just kind of draw circles because that's a shape that you know. And without knowing, you're like overlapping lines trying to draw muscles, but you don't know where muscles go. So it just becomes this cluster of like overlapping circles and lines that don't really go to the right places. Right? But it looks cool because you're copying your favorite things. So at this stage, you will start copying things that you think are cool. You start putting a little more detail into your work, and you start feeling proud of your work, right? At this stage, you just want to create something cool. Like, you're not worried about structure. You're not worried about anything. You just want to create that cool graffiti piece, and you want a cool, like, you know, like anime style, and you want a cool tag, and you want like pa 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 pa. Like, all that stuff comes into play from this stage, right? Like, you just end up liking certain sorts of art more than other people. Maybe you'll start getting into like, you know, like environments or whatever. Like, maybe you just like that sort of stuff, and you're going to try to shade everything at this stage too. Right? You're going to try to shade, but you're not going to know what to shade. So you're just going to make a mess out of everything. And it's okay. Everybody learns the same way. Shading sucks because you don't understand it at this point, right? There's no knowledge to it. So you just don't just do it, but you're doing it because it's cool, not because you know how to do it. So once you get past this stage, in this stage could be any stage. Like, honestly, some people just stop at stage 2. Like, some people just never progress past stage 2. And I would consider this a person that actually enjoys art. So stage 3, you need to actually enjoy art. Need to enjoy it to be able to get to this, right? That is the catalyst number 1, and the one thing that is already making you special, right? The fact that you're doing this already means that you progress past this point. You liked art enough to be able to progress to this stage. Congratulations, you are better than like 50% of population out there already. At least. Where's my drink? There's my drink. This video will be posted. I'll cut it out so that the front part and the back part are 2 different videos. All right, so as we move on to stage 4, step 4, this is where we actually start paying attention a little bit, right? We start taking our lessons on like basic shapes. We start like paying attention to like line work. We start paying attention to making sure that it's not like super sketchy. We start like cleaning up our line work a little bit, right? We start like thinking a little bit more about like, ooh, how does my eyes look? And we start like actual thinking about like different ways to draw the eye, the almond shape, the trapezoid shape, I don't know, the 2 lines together crossing into a box shape. This is where you start using a lot of quick tips as well. Quick tips become like your thing. Like, tips just become glorious because seeing somebody draw a cool eye and them telling you how to draw it, oh my God, that is like the bee's knees. Oh, Wait, he made an eye out of a circle? Oh my god. Oh, he made it super cute. Oh my god. How did he do that? What is the tip? What is the trick for this? Right? This is where we start paying attention to little things like that, and we are looking for a quick answer to how to draw. Because now we have a little bit of skill, right? We have developed a little bit of skill by copying, but now we are trying to apply knowledge. So this is where we start learning. Not saying that any of this wasn't learning. This was just natural progression from repetition and being something cool. At this point, you're taking tips from other people, right? Other tips from people that are more experienced, and you're trying to apply them in an easy, simple fashion to be able to make it more understandable to you. That might come a lot with learning how to draw eyes like triangles and learning how to draw the face. For example, this is a basic step for me, like drawing the face in the rules of threes and fours could be done at this level, right? This is a level where you could go in and just play around with these rules. Oh, we messed it up. This one will be 3 and this one will be 2. But yeah, like you can go in and start designing your things already and starting to learn a little bit about spatial awareness of the spacing of your characters. Right? You can start using little rules like this to start understanding how your body in general works. How much space is supposed to be between one element or the other, right? Things like this give you the spacing that you need without having to think of all the anatomy. So rules like this are good to understand. This is good to practice, but don't rely on this as a style. Careful, because this is essentially your knowledge and your style are going to blend. Style and knowledge will blend. And if you're not careful, you'll stay at this stage forever. Right? You will not really comprehend much because you will stop thinking about your basics and you will focus so much on how other people draw these things and how people come up with quick tips that you will develop a style, but it'll be a style not based on any foundations. Your style will be based on just pure like mimicry. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's going to have a big stopgap. You're not going to be able to progress past a certain point, and that might hinder you down the line. It might not, but it might actually hinder you if you want to do this as a lifelong thing and not just something that you're going to do for a little bit. If you're a hobbyist, this is normally where you stop, right? And this is also the beginning stages of where you're going to art school, where you're focusing to be an artist, right? This is starts focus towards career. Towards possible career. Okay? So this is also, after this step, going into step 5, this is where you hit a big wall. Right? This is a big wall. Bam, bam. Before you get to stage 5, which is career, like this is your career when you try to make it into a career, right? Once you start going here, you need to break through this wall that consists of a lot of things. This wall consists of the drive to do it, right? The drive, like you cannot be an artist as a career if you don't have the drive. You just don't. You're going to suffer as an artist if you do not have the drive to push through. It's going to be hard. So you're going to need the drive to get through. Step 2. You're going to need the dedication. And I know that sounds really similar, but oh no. You need the drive and you also need the dedication, which is going to come with compromises. Right? Before you go do art for a living, you got to understand art for a living normally does not tie in very financially savvy to like a very money driven career. Yes, there are people that actually achieve a level of financial stability that is going to be very good for them, but it's not normally the norm, right? It's just not the case. So if you're going into this to just be a financial success in the art world as an employee, then you're better off not really pursuing it in the way of a career. Think about it as a side hustle. Think about it as something you can self-teach yourself and then go in at like that, right? If money is going to be a factor in a lot of essences in your career, right? From loans that you have to take to go to art school if you go to art school, to investments that you need to make to be able to make yourself competent enough to be able to compete with other artists, to the time and dedication that it takes, you're going to not be going out to parties and such like that as you really think, you know? Like if you are a dedicated person and you're dedicated to being an artist and you want to actually succeed, it's going to be a big fat wall that you hit before you decide that you're going to make this into a career. But if you do break that wall and you're already there and you've been doing this for years, you might be in stage 5. Okay? Stage 5 is normally your beginning stages of your career. So once you get here, you will come to understand there will be 2 different types of people starting career. And by starting your career, that could mean school. So if you're going to college for it, self-teaching towards being an employee or towards being like self-taught to make your own business. Maybe you don't want to be an employee, right? Or you already see a path that has some benefit. And it has to be, at this point, you have to think about it as some financial benefit as well, right? You can't just think of it as your goal and you're going to be driven. Like, you cannot make money at the beginning, but then still plan to make money at some stage of your career. Like, you can't just go at it not thinking you don't have to make money, right? You can be as passionate as you want about your career, about art. You can be like, oh my God, I love how to draw little animals and I can't help but do it. Oh my God, it's so cute and I love them and it's so adorable. If you don't find a way to make money with this, your love for this will be killed in college. Like literally, like they will drive that out of you. Like college it's a wonderful thing if you don't know shit. It's a horrible thing if you do. And let me explain why. So art school, there are going to be 2 ways that you guys can do this, right? You guys can go into self-teaching mode and you guys can go into art school mode. Let's go with art school first. Art school is going to teach you pretty much everything you are going to need to be an employee. So they are gearing you to be an employee, right? They are not gearing you to be an entrepreneur. They are not gearing you to make your own money. They are probably not going to teach you how to do that. So if you're going to art school, be careful with that. Because if you did not want to go work for an employer or a studio, they're not going to really gear you in the right direction. So be careful about that. Okay? About the intentions behind you going into art. Be mindful that they will tell you, most likely, that the reason that you got into art, remember what exercise I told you guys to think about? Right? The reason you got into art. Right? Why did you get into art? See, for example, with me, I wanted to journal my life. I wanted to be able to draw myself, doing fun things that I like to do in my life. I had like bangs and like long hair back then, right? And I just wanted to be able to draw myself doing cute, fun things throughout my life. Like, I didn't want anything else. That is all I wanted to do with my life. And I wanted to create, maybe like get a job doing something creative, I don't know, video editing or something simple. But the goal was, the reason that I got into it was because I wanted to draw myself as a cartoon, right? That is the reason that I draw myself so much. Like, you guys wonder why I do it. Like, yeah, I'm an ego driven human being. Of course I am. But I'm also a person that got into this so that he can draw himself. So I take advantage and I draw myself as much as I can because I love doing it. Right? So I got into artwork for that. Cool. That doesn't really translate to being an employee. So my love didn't like have value to them. Right? If my love for art did not have value to them, then why am I there? Why am I there? Well, you get peer pressured into liking very similar things. And the reason is because those are mostly the most close things to the reason that you got into art. So a lot of people will try to be things like character designers, right? They will try to do visual development. They will try to be, I don't know, like lead storyboard artists. And you guys will be able to get to those jobs at some point, but those are never entry level jobs, right? Maybe cleanup artists are like that, or assistants and stuff like that, but you're not going to get those jobs. It's just not happening. Like, the level of skill and ability that is required to get a job like a character designer for a show, remember that people are putting millions of dollars on the line for a show to be successful. Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions, right? That person is not going to be an entry level person from an art school, right? It's just not going to happen. So you have to be more realistic when it comes down to your expectations after college. Understand the skill sets you're going to have and then what you can build into, right? Because that might be your goal. But what jobs lead into these, right? What type of jobs do you need to get in order to be able to be capable to do all those things? Don't just take random jobs. This is your career. This is where you need to understand that going to school and having jobs at the same time means that you have two chances to learn different aspects of art. You have the financial side and you have the educational side, right? So as you go through your path and you have to diverge into these two different aspects, learn all the things that you need to from your educational side so that you can feed your financial side, right? Anything that you learn should be able to make you money in some way or another. So that is how you should view art school, right? Don't see it as you coming out with a portfolio. Oh, I learned Photoshop. Now I can draw everything. No, think about it like this. What do I want to achieve by getting this knowledge? Why am I learning this? Right? Why am I in this? A lot of people go into it with a certain love in mind. And they lose that because they tell them, no, don't fucking do that. You can't make money. No one's going to hire you. Stop thinking like that. You will not get anywhere if you keep thinking like that. A lot of people get that when they tell them that they love anime and manga. Right? That is something that is very prevalent in art schools. They tell you, oh, don't draw anime, don't draw manga. Well, how about if they told people, instead of don't do it, be like, dude, Learn your perspective and your anatomy perfectly, right? So that whenever you do get a chance to draw your anime styling, you're able to do it without any limitations. How about you draw for learning's sake so you can be able to create all your cool things that you love and not be restrained by it? If you imagine if a teacher approached you like that and they were like, yeah, I need you to not draw like that right now. I need you to focus on learning how to do this so that you can later on be able to understand where all your things go. And then you can create as much depth in your art and you can create your own anime style. Right? You can go out and you can take all the cool things that you've learned from all the other art, like designers of like manga or whatever, and then apply that to your own cool ideas, right? So let's focus on drawing these basic shapes so that you can do that, right? You're learning, you're in college, you're starting off your career. This is the beginning. This is how you get there. And then just talking to people like that would make a fucking difference. Right? Like instead of crushing someone's dreams, that is the reason that they paid to go to art school, right? Instead of telling someone, no, you can't do the thing that you came here to do, be like, no, 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 it's a horrible teacher, by the way. Somebody that does that I hate people like that. But tell them, hey, maybe right now, focus on this so that you can achieve that dream, right? That is essentially what they should be saying, but they don't, because most people that go into teaching don't really know themselves, right? They just don't understand and they regurgitate a lot of teachings that they learned from their own school days. So just because you're a capable artist and you're able to draw does not mean that you can teach, right? Not every artist can be a teacher. Not every artist can do this. And it's kind of irresponsible for anyone that just doesn't quite understand it to have a job teaching the next generation of artists. Right? I'm not saying you have to be an industry professional or have had a successful career or anything, but understand the concepts that you're trying to teach instead of just regurgitating bullshit to the next generation of artists that's not going to understand that stuff again. Right? So that is my issue with art school. Art school tends to just have a bunch of complications, but it also has benefits, right? The benefits are you get a lot of networking. This is going to make you friends with a lot of people, right? You're going to have lifelong friends that literally look out for you and help you out. Like I've met countless amounts of people that I've helped, and I've also met countless amounts of people that have helped me, right? Like that networking itself is a very important factor in art, in like the design world. So that is a very, very good one, right? This is a good benefit to it. Second, you're going to know all the technical stuff that you need to know. So that means Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, all the industry standards that you are going to need to be able to get a job absolutely anywhere, or even with freelance work. You are going to need to do that, even to build your own business. So you're going to need to know all those things anyways. If you're geared with a teacher, that's fantastic. You don't need a teacher. You have Google, you have YouTube, you have a lot of free material or inexpensive material that you guys can actually check out. So then again, this goes to the drive, right? If you need the drive to be able to surpass that, the drive and dedication, either be it in school or freelancing, compromise, dedication, and drive, right? You're going to need all those three to be able to actually succeed in this, right? You don't have to get a 4.0 GPA. You don't have to create a perfect portfolio. I've never used any of my pieces for school in my portfolio. Never. None of my things that I ever did in college was ever good enough to be put in a portfolio for a client. So again, I was not a very good student. I was not a very good artist, right? But when it came down to actually producing things for clients, I would take all that knowledge that I take and then apply it to what the client needed. And most of the often than not, they were incredibly happy and they were just so joyful because of it, right? So it didn't matter that I wasn't creating a perfect portfolio. I was just delivering to clients what they needed. So it didn't matter. I just had the ability and the knowledge to create those things. So I understood them. So now I can play with them. Cool. So that's not necessary. You don't need a 4.0 GPA. You don't need honors. You don't need any of that shit. Like, if you fail the class, it sucks you have to pay for it again. But as long as you pass it, it's fine. Right? Don't, like, your grade point average is not going to matter to anyone outside of college. No one. Anyone. No one gives a shit. So don't worry about this so much. It's not going to affect anything. Second, time off, right? Oof. Okay, you have 4 years roughly to experience art college. 4 years. That's not a very long time. That's not a very long time to try to dedicate to learning everything about your career, right? It's not. So, what you need to do is you need to focus. 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 Yes, I'm going to say this like 10 times because focus means don't go play video games with your buddies instead of going to class. Don't go play trading card games when you could be trying and practicing your artwork and trying and, like, doing things. Don't spend your time doing things that are not making your networking or your career better. You have 4 years to make the most about your whole networking, skill set, and knowledge. Right? You're paying upwards of $60 to $100 to maybe even $200,000 sometimes. Right? This is money that is going to haunt you for the rest of your life, especially if you took out loans. Right? If you took out loans, this is going to be something that haunts you forever. And it's not meant to scare you, but it's not meant to keep you quiet either, right? It's literally something that plagues people that go to art school. They take these huge, gigantic loans, and then they are never able to work in the industry they want, and then they have to jump to a different type of industry, like, I don't know, something boring as shit, so they can pay the bills. And then they end up in those fields, and they always regret having gone to art school because now they're paying $200,000 for the opportunity to learn how to do that, and they don't even get to do that. So be careful. A 19-year-old, an 18-year-old kid taking a $200,000 loan from a bank or from an institution is the most irresponsible thing you can possibly do. Right? That is the most irresponsible. They won't even give you a loan for a car, but they will give you a loan so that you're stuck to their financial institutions forever. I know people that are 80 right now, 80, that are barely finishing their student loans. It's ridiculous. So be very careful when it comes down to that, okay? Be very, very, very mindful of what it is that you got to get into when you go to art school. It comes with a lot of benefits and it comes with a lot of drawbacks, right? But it's also part of that wall that you need to go through if you want to be a career artist. If you're looking to be an employee, this is your best bet. Art school is your best bet. Get into a good one though. Like, you got to know the difference. You can't just go to an art school and you know what happened to me? Okay, so I went to the beautiful school called Art Institutes of California. AI. AI here in San Diego decided that they were gonna screw all the people that ever went to school there, and they went bankrupt here. That bankruptcy takes away the legitimacy of our degree. Yay! So all the people that graduated from there don't technically have a degree anymore. So I paid like 70K for a paper that I no longer get to use. Fantastic. And let's hope that this actually qualifies me when I go get my master's degree, because I've been wanting to go get a master's degree. But if I don't have this, they're going to make me want to do an undergraduate degree again. So, yay. Thank you, Art Institute. You can go suck a bag of you know what. So be careful. Be very careful where you go to art school. This is a cautionary tale for you guys. Be careful. Okay? Be careful how you spend your money. Be careful how you actually decide to make your career. And be careful what path you choose. And if you choose art school, choose a good one. If you're going to go into debt, at least go to a good school. Yeah, this stream will be saved. So now the other aspect of things, of learning in stage 5, which is parallel, is self-teaching. Right? Self-teaching. How do we become all that without the institution of an art school? Well, self-teaching is going to take your drive, dedication, and compromises, and it's going to push it to the red line, right? You're going to be redlining like, you're going to be redlining that thing like crazy, right? So you will need extra dedication because you're not going to have teachers, right? Because no teachers. And we'll assume that we don't have mentors because I didn't have a mentor when I was like, I learned a lot through art school, but I didn't learn how to draw. I learned 3D, I learned Photoshop, I learned Illustrator, I learned InDesign, I learned music, I learned like audio, I learned video, I learned sculpting, I learned a lot of stuff. But they didn't really teach us how to draw in an animation degree. They gave us like 3 drawing classes in the entirety of the fucking class, like school. So all these, when we were doing cool 3D models, well, they were all based on really bad drawings. So all our 3D models came out looking like garbage because you couldn't draw a character because we didn't know how to draw. So we would be modeling with good technique out of bad characters, which gives you bad characters. Right? So I didn't learn how to draw through school. I learned how to draw through other people. Right? Other people taught me how to draw much more than I ever learned through art school. Me setting out and being like, you got to be obsessive when it comes down to being self-taught. You can't be lazy. You can't just not do it, right? If you need to learn like the people here, if you want to compete with the people that are paying thousands of dollars to go to art school and all that stuff, you need to do everything they're learning, and you can find curriculums online, right? If you want to learn exactly what they're doing and you're looking to be an employee too, but you want to be self-taught, all the curriculums for all the schools are online. So find a curriculum you like. Find out what you need to learn. What industry necessities are needed, right? For what you want to create. You can't just not know what you want to do. You need to be a little bit more, you need to know where you're going much more than in the other stages. Right? If you go to art school, you might not know what you want to do. You know, you maybe just want to know something creative and you want to just fit in somewhere. And that's a fantastic reason to go to art school, right? That was like kind of what I went to art school too for, you know, to just find a way to be creative and use that creativity to become something like just something in something. You can do the same thing with this, but you need to do all that exploration that you're not getting forced to do, right? No one's going to teach you how to tell you got to go sculpting. No one's going to tell you, oh, you got to learn a 3D program if you've never touched a 3D program. So you need to have an open mind and actually act on it. Okay? Do all sorts of cool stuff that is creative. In this world, more so than in the other art of in the world of art school, you don't really need to be explorative because the school itself will give you all the lessons that you need to be able to explore. But when it comes down to being self-taught, you're going to have to see it like this. Okay? This is the entirety of art. This is all art, everything, right? In art school, they try to do their best to teach you most of the world of art, but they lack considerably in getting there. They show you digital, they show you traditional, they show you some painting, but they lack the ability to show you everything. They don't show you how to be self-taught. They don't teach you how to be an entrepreneur. They don't teach you how to manage your social media. They don't teach you how to be successful on your own or how to make money on your own, really. That is some topics that just get left out. That is something that is going to come very, very much so to you if you go in the self-teaching method. Because most of the learning you're going to learn through doing, right? You're going to learn through doing, through experiences. You're not doing through classes. At this point, fuck classes. You're going to go work. You're going to find work in any field you want. You want to do graphic design? You're going to find someone to do a logo for, right? You're going to find that work and you're going to fill that up and you're going to learn how to do it and you're going to learn that skill. Bam. It might be garbage. It might be horrible. It might be whatever, but you're filling up that gap. That is your gap now. Now you learned a little about graphic design, right? Let's say an opportunity comes up for you to draw an animation for a client. You don't know how to do animation. Learn and then do it. Learn quick. Take the job, learn quick and do it. Right? I forget what president it was. I think it's Teddy Roosevelt, but please, I don't know. I was like somebody that mentioned, like, if you're going to have to take an opportunity, make sure that you take the opportunity head first and you just learn how to do it really quick, right? That is essentially what the concept of your self-taughtness is going to do. At the very worst, you don't complete the job the way that you're supposed to. And then that poor client is going to have to be backed up or whatever. It's fine. You're learning. This is your lesson, right? Like, that is the lesson too. Like, learning how to deal with clients is a lesson that they don't teach you in art school. So that's another lesson that you're learning, right? That somebody else in art school isn't. Well, how about you go do something random like a caricature? You don't know how to do caricatures. You know how you learn how to caricatures? You go to a park with a piece of paper and you draw people. Regardless of how it comes out, you just give it to them. You lose that fear and then you unlock that skill. So now you have unlocked social skills through caricatures. Social skills unlocked. Woo! Because now you can draw a person anywhere you go, and now that person's going to smile. That person's going to be your friend, and they're going to talk to you. You have now learned the best conversation starter in all life. Literally, like, that'll get you into bars more than being rich. That'll get you a drink from a woman that you think is cute. That'll get you a drink from the guy that you are desperately trying to approach, but you are too shy to approach. Draw him. Give it to him. You'll be surprised. Like, you will not, just, you'll enjoy. So learn how to be social with your art. This is something that is just a natural situation that happens with art school, right? Everybody here has the same mentality. Everybody here is looking to be an artist and they have the same creative mind. That's not going to happen here, right? That is not going to happen here. You don't have the social, no social stigma with art. Okay, so you're not going to have the friends that do art and want to do the same thing you do. So you have to create that sort of sense of pride and joy through your own self-fulfillment. And it really is the best and easiest ways to learn how to draw people. Learn how to draw people quick, and then you'll be able to have so much more like fun with your career, period. And you'll have an icebreaker anytime you go anywhere. This man's dropping. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So learn to be social with your art. Right? The social aspect of things is very important because that's your network. Right? This is important. This is huge important because that's where you network. Right? You know how people have their friends and they make friends for life and stuff like that? That's what you're going to be doing with random people until you run into people that you can benefit from. So this is very highly important, right? Show your art around to everyone. Show your art. Shyness kills you. Shyness kills artists. Okay? Shyness starves artists. Don't starve. Stop being shy. Show your work. Be proud of it. Even if you're not completely like 100% about it, be proud of it. You're a super cool person that can draw something from their mind. You have a superpower. Okay? You, my dear people, are superheroes. All of you. You guys have the ability to draw. You guys have the ability to imagine things into existence. You guys have everything that a superpower is, really. So be proud of yourselves, right? Not everybody can sit down and draw. No one. That's the reason that is such a big industry, because so many people can't do it. So if you are one of those people that can, take pride in that. You are awesome. You are amazing. And on top of that, you're probably an incredibly creative person that can probably do all sorts of creative talents and feats. So don't relegate yourself to just one thing, right? Don't be like, oh, I'm just an animator. No, you're an animator. You're an artist. You're a creative mind. You're a goddamn Da Vinci. Okay? The moment that you tell yourself, I'm only this. This is the whole entirety of art world, right? The moment you tell yourself you're only that, you're relegating yourself to a minuscule slice of the entirety of the art world. I'm only a graphic designer. I only do felting. Right? That little tiny sliver, this one. The entirety of the whole world of art is such a vast world, and everything correlates to each other. Everything is interconnected. In some way or another, you end up linking everything from sculpting to drawing to 3D modeling to graphic design to even audio editing and sound video editing. They all tie in together in a beautiful way. Right? The trick is to understand enough of our basic foundation so that we can apply that to everything we do, right? To not get deviated by style and learn through our actual foundations. Stop trying to make things look pretty, and if you don't know where they go. Essentially, that's what it boils down to. Stop making things look pretty if you don't know where they go. And the moment that you guys stop doing that, you guys will see like a huge step up in your art. Yeah, that's from the Robinsons. Futuristic. Okay. Yeah. So don't relegate yourself to a very tiny piece of the art world, especially if you're going to be doing self teaching. You need to be broad. You need to see the entirety of the panel, right? So this is going to dedicate, essentially, you don't have a backup. This is you versus world. Okay. This is essentially how you should see it, right? You versus the world. No one is going to be as passionate about your work, especially when you go self teaching. No one is going to be as passionate about your work as you. No one. Your wife, no. Your kids, no. No one is going to ever really understand your projects and the passion you have for your art more than you. So make sure that you get people that are close to it as possible through your networking, through your not being shy, and you understanding that it's you versus everyone, right? It's not a competition technically because it's just you versus the world. There's no other person versus the world. It's you versus the world, period. So you got to be your own hype man. You got to be your own buddy. You need to be your own person that pats you on the back, person that makes you comfort. Like everything has to fall on you, and that's something that is not easy, right? Because we don't always find our best friend that's an artist, like ever. We don't normally have groups of friends and gatherings, ever. Some people live in places where they don't have art colleges and they don't have other artistic people, and they're feel like they're the only people there that do that, and that sucks, right? That is horrible. That's a horrible sensation to be because it feels like you're by yourself. You have no one except you. But that, unfortunately, that is the path of being self-taught. Being self-taught means that you're going to be doing a lot of these things on your own. So you need to be okay with that. Kelsey, you just got banned. Don't tell me what to do. Nah, I won't ban you. But I don't take kindly to that. I'm trying to teach a lesson here, not cater to your entertainment. Yeah, she doesn't understand that I'll literally just call you out completely because you dumb stuff. But you just deviate the class. So that's the reason why people get upset, right? You don't have to say stuff like that. Nah, it won't matter. Anyways, let's continue. Let's go on to stage 6, right? Stage 6 comes in after you graduate or after you decide that you are ready to be ready for the world. Stage 6. Since stage 6 also comes after a little bit of a wall, right? Let me explain what this wall is when it comes down to this. Well, the wall comes in the form of, one, you probably don't do the same thing that got you into art, right? At this stage, you're ready to make it a career. You're trying to make a financial success out of this, either by getting a job or you're trying to you get your degree so you can get a job, right? So you get your little degree and you're like, yay, this paper is going to get me jobs all over the place. Woohoo, cool. Or you have created enough experience through self-teaching that you feel confident enough to be able to go do it. Right? So you feel confident enough that you're willing to do it, but you are also maybe looking for a job. At this point, if you are going in the self-teaching route, you're probably not ready to make your own company or your own job yet. So you're probably looking more at freelancing. And if you do get a job, awesome. You learn as much as you can from that job and then move on to the next job. Literally, if you go with the job route, learn as much as you can from every job that you do. Learn from every job. Every job that you have should teach you something that you can do for yourself. Should be learned to the point of self-benefit. And that means the knowledge that you get from this job should help you get money down the line, right? Don't take jobs where you don't benefit from knowledge, especially when you start your career. Don't take jobs that are going to drain you and drown you in just busy work and you're not learning anything valuable. This is where you have to be very picky. Picky, but keep an open mind, right? So it's going to be like, yes, you can get a job being creative, but some creative jobs drain you. They drain you of your creativity, right? So when you get home later at night and you want to draw something cool and you want to continue on your artwork and your path and you want to be the person that comes home and draws like all the time, well, you're not going to do that. You're going to be tired. You're going to be exhausted, right? You're going to be like tired as hell and you're not going to want to do that. You're just going to want to go to sleep. You're going to want to watch some Netflix. You're going to want to just eat some food and then go to bed, right? Some jobs drain you and they drain your soul. Like they don't just drain you, they drain your soul, right? So be careful with what jobs you take. Like people will always try to take advantage of artistic people, right? So you're going to have to be careful with that too. Don't do work for free. Free work never is a good idea. Never, ever. Don't do work for free. Like, why would you do that? Like, if you really think about like what we do as a career, right? But you don't think about it as like a creative field. If you just think about it like any other job, like let's be a plumber, right? Would you pay a plumber less to do more? No. Would you they do the work for free? No. No. Stop. Stop thinking like that. Right? The worst job that I ever had was being a product photographer for a company that sold things on Amazon. Right? So the job was super comfy and it paid well. It paid like almost $30 an hour. So I was like, woohoo, cool. I got a job taking pictures of like tripods and I don't know, like wall mounts and stuff like that. Right? It was like, oh, look at how this video. And then I would have to like record a video of people using it. Like, oh, what? You can actually find my face like doing like some infomercial type of videos like on Amazon on some products. Like you will see my face randomly testing a product because I'm like building a chair and I'm like, oh, let me show you guys how it feels. Right? That was a job that was incredibly easy. It paid well and it almost drove me to kill myself. Like honestly, I was feeling drained. I was feeling exhausted. I was feeling like my job. Like I'm not even kidding. I was so depressed every day that I was literally like, what am I doing with my life? Like all that work that I've spent on my career, on learning how to do this creative thing, and now all I'm doing is taking pictures of tripods. Jesus Christ. Like I wanted to just throw my motorcycle into traffic. Like it felt horrible, right? Every day I felt like I did not do what I wanted, right? Every day I felt like I was failing myself. And every day it felt like I was just constantly like being surpassed by everyone around me with their creative things. And it just made me go mad. I was so sad and depressed, even though I was in a creative job that was technically well paid and, you know, an industry standard, right? That's more jobs. Like most of the jobs in art incorporate a lot of product, like a lot of marketing, advertising, graphics, and just overall editing incorporate most of the art world when it comes down to jobs. Okay? So most of your jobs that you will get are not going to be at studios. They're going to probably be at production places like t-shirt places, graphic design places, places that need somebody to do web design, right? That is the stuff that most people will end up in. And that is stuff that is not aligned with the reasons we got into art, right? So now let's go back to what we thought about it first. Once we get to stage 6, big part of that wall is understanding why did we stop what we love to do at first? And if you're at that stage right now, right? If you're at that stage where you're kind of lost and you don't really know like what you're doing with your career, but you also know that you're not doing the right thing, like you're not going the path that you really want, that's when you have to ask yourself, what made me deviate from what I love to do? And I promise you that more likely than not, it's somebody doing some peer pressure bullshit, or somebody, like from an art school telling you that it was not something that you needed to do. Right? So that is what you need to think about. And that is the big part of stage 6. A lot of people get so discouraged that they don't love art anymore after college. They just don't love it anymore. Right? And they wonder why. They're like, oh, maybe it's because like it made it into a job and now I don't want to do it because no, that's not it. I've been doing this for 20 years. I love every single thing about the creative field. It's not because of that. It's not because your job is like, oh, no, it's no. It's because people told you that what you did was not something worth doing. Someone at some point told you, and you believed them because they were a teacher or they were like somebody that you valued. They told you not to draw or do the things that you wanted. And you believed them. And that person is a horrible human being. Right? So the reason that we disillusion ourselves is because we are not doing what we love anymore. At this point, most of the time, we're just trying to fulfill that one thing that everybody else wants to do because we got brainwashed into it because everybody wants to do it. So that's why everybody wants to be a character designer, right? That's why everybody wants to be in visual development. That's why everybody wants to be in those super top-notch like jobs, storyboard artists, like they want to pitch animations and stuff like that. Yes, that's great, and you should aim to that. But this is a lot of brainwashing because I bet you didn't even know any of these things before you went into going into college. These are jobs that most people want to covet because they're jobs where you get to be as creative as possible. But what if I told you you could do character design without working for a studio? You could do it for yourself. Come up with a story. Just develop it. Create a pitch book. Right? Develop a story on your own as if you were working for a company. Right? And then you'll have your own story. Develop your own visual development book about your own concepts. And then if you feel like going out and getting a job, you already have everything you need. You need an actual productive concept that is meant for production, not a portfolio piece of some random heads of a character that exists already, right? Like, yeah, I get that that's the industry standard for people's character designs, but what if you just gave them something they could already use? They're not going to see you as an employee. They're going to see you as a valuable asset. They're going to see you as a creative person. They're going to see you as somebody that can benefit from more than just their art skills, right? They're going to see that you're creative. Therefore, you can develop visual concepts. They're going to see that you can do character design because you come up with concepts and you're applying those to different ways of developing the characters, right? Storyboard artists. Write stories. Storyboard a movie that you've already seen a million times. See if you have the skills to move things in perspective, right? If you need a character standing here and then the other one standing up here, Well, how do you switch that up so that you got a third person and then that third person has to be looking at them? So, and try to move like the scene around and see how that little triangle maps out in different scenes. If you can manage to do this, odds are you'll be able to tell a story. So, yeah, self-teaching is going to require a ridiculous amount of like dedication. It's like a stupid amount of dedication that you need to have, right? You have to go beyond what a normal person does to be able to succeed when you're being self-taught. Because you are the literally your teacher. You are your only teacher. You're not getting taught. You can't blame it on anybody. If you mess up, it's you. Right? It's not, oh, my teacher messed up, or my teacher gave me detention. Oh, my teacher didn't explain that right. There's no teachers, there's you. And that's how the mentality should be here too, by the way. Like if a teacher does not explain something right, it's not their fault. It's just that they probably don't know any better. You have to go out and learn different ways from different people so you can figure it out. So being in college doesn't give you the right to just be like, oh, well, I don't want to, they didn't teach me that. No, you go out and learn too. Like you have to make an effort and go outside of your comfort zone and take responsibility and learn some shit without a teacher telling you. Right? You're an adult. By the time you're in college, you're an adult. No one should be having to tell you that you should have to do something because you want it as a career. Like that is the most childish thing you can possibly think of. Like the moment that you decide to go to art school, you have already put up a shit ton of money. And by doing that, you should take it seriously because that's going to haunt you. Like if you put money down, be an adult, grow up and actually take the responsibilities you need because that is, you might be 18, 17, 16. The moment that you put up that money to be able to go into that education, that is the moment that your life just got serious. Right? That is literally, that's serious mode. That's like hard mode right there. The moment that you put that money down on that loan, you better put your ass in gear because you are going to have to pay that back. And it's going to ruin you financially for life if you don't. So be very careful. Being an artist is not easy. Okay? This is another realization, and I like to call this step 7. Okay? Step 7 is realizing being an artist is not easy. It's fun. It's very cool, but it's not an easy thing. Okay? And that's literally it. It is not. It's not just drawing. You have to be a marketer, advertiser, graphic designer for yourself. You have to be a person that knows storytelling. You need a person that knows composition, that has physical hand skills to draw, to view motion, to view elements in 3D visualization, to be creative on the spot, not just waiting for inspiration. That's a hobby. If you wait for inspiration to hit, you're not doing this. No. If you're a creative person that does this for a living, you don't get to choose when you get to be creative. Okay? You need to be on it all the time. And even if it's bad, even if you're sad, even if you're tired, even if you're angry, even if you're not feeling well, you have to be creative. And that is tough. Being creative is hard. Okay? If being creative for a living is hard. Okay? Keep that in mind, because that is literally the only thing that's going to keep you from being like just free. Like step 8 is just realizing this and pushing through that barrier, that last little barrier, that last little wall. Once you break through this notion that it's not easy and you enjoy the journey, you're free. After that, you are good. You are free to create anything you want because you know it's going to take time. You know it's going to take effort. You know it's going to take knowledge, and you know it's going to take some dedication. If you manage to get to step 7, you're fucking solid. Now, it doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter if you just started at 30 or if you started when you were like a baby. Let me explain to you guys why. Do we have another post-it? Did we go through all our post-its? I think we went through all our post-its. Anyways, let's make it on this piece of paper. So let me explain to you guys why it doesn't matter if someone starts later in life or someone starts early in life. Let's say this is the end of our lives. Dead. Right? Let's go. And this is our beginning of our life. So when we start drawing, it really doesn't matter if we started when we were like 1, because we don't really go past stage 3. When we're learning how to draw before college, we don't go past step 3. Right? So we'll be like step 1, step 2, and then college will be right here. Step 3. 1, 2, 3. And this will be like a bigger area because a lot of people just never leave that part. Right? Let's say that you are, I don't know, 15. Let's make a prodigy, right? That goes into this stage in life, into stage 4 at age 15, or a person that goes into it 39. Okay? Both people are starting their career technically at this point. If you decide at 39 that you're going to go into art, you probably have these skills at stage 3 already. Okay? You're probably not going into it just learning how to do nothing. You probably already have some skills because you probably are 39 and you have some skills because that's something you're deciding to do. Once you get to this level, even if you're at 0 here for this person, right? Like maybe even 0. Let's say 0. By the time you're in college, this person is going to have the mindset that they want this as a career. As a more mature person, you know the consequences of not paying attention. So you focus more. You pay attention more. You listen more. You actually give 2 fucks about this, right? You actually care. So this person is going to be much more in line to grow exponentially quicker than this. This person might be up here already, right? They like, and then this person's here. 39, 15-year-old, right? They're already a little bit ahead. By the time they end college, if this person does not focus like this person will, this person will be fucking upset. That's what's going to happen. A person that's focused and willing to learn because they know the consequences of not doing so will always be more dedicated and driven than a person that's young that doesn't really have that mindset. So that you're going to surpass or at least match them at some point within the art career really early on. You will match them even if they're like a good person that learns progressively throughout their life. You, as a person that's older, will be able to just physically and mentally be a better, more focused individual than a person that's young. Because they're going to go through puberty, they're going to go through their 20s, their party stages, all that crap. Their peer pressure from other people. Oh, do I really want this? Indecision, all that stuff. This person's dedicated. They already know what they want. You know what you want. You're paying for college at this point out of your own pocket. You don't have loans. And you're just going to actually put the work in because you fucking know it's worth it. So you can start at 39, but even that, like within a year or 2, you will be surpassing all those kids that were working since they were like 19. So it doesn't matter when you start. If you're dedicated, within a couple years, you'll be good enough to do some art. And then a couple years later, you'll be able to be a professional. So, with that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm hoping that this was a lesson that is going to be helpful to some of you when you don't know what stage you're in yet. If you do know what stage you're in, put it in the chat right now so I can see, because I'm actually a very nosy person and I would love to know. So, are you guys in stage 1? Probably not. You guys are capable of drawing even more basic shapes. So, if you guys are stuck on step 3 or still in step 4, which is all the learning stages with all the tips and tricks and stuff like that, or are you guys more along the line of stage 5 where you dedicated your career into it and you are self-taught or maybe going to art school? Let me know. Step 4. Stage 4. Yep, that is normally where most people end up. Is anybody considering themselves past stage 5? Any of my viewers, do you guys consider yourselves past this stage? Like, have you guys gotten to the point where you guys understand that you are getting a job and stuff? Stage 5, but struggling. I feel you. Ooh, you're learning but making your own sticker business. Guess what you're doing? You're learning through work. You're learning through doing. So this is stage 5. You're doing great. I'm past stage 10. I'm built different. I miss most of this because I'm at work, but I really want to focus more on making it. This will be on YouTube once I download it and edit it and upload it. So you're 5 and 6. All right. Stage 6, but honestly not good enough yet. Probably needs to go back to step 5. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we just have to go back to our education. You know, I personally had to go back to stage 4. I had to go back to this stage after 15 years of work. So I was already on stage 6. You know, I already knew, like, I was getting close to stage 7. I was like, yeah, I'm getting good. Oh, I'm understanding the industry. But then I realized that I didn't. So I went back, and now literally just going back for a year. I went back for a year, and I feel like I'm on stage 9. It feels honestly that I'm at the best, happiest spot in my career, and I'm able to create anything and actually teach it, which is another skill that I've always wanted to do. I've never really been able to talk in front of people, right? So I love being a host. I would love to be a teacher. I would love to be somebody that talks to human beings for a living. And this is also me being able to teach online through you guys and keeping you company and talking for almost 2 hours without shutting my mouth up is teaching me to be more vocal, more like, I don't know, able to pronounce my words properly and actually explain things to people helps me be a better teacher. Right? So thank you guys so much for keeping me company. I will make this into a really cool chart to go into my how to draw book. And it will be full of explanations with every single stage, and you guys can get that. Later on, I will be creating more of a how to draw book coming up, and it's just going to be my how to draw everything book. That'll be released, hopefully, I hope I get it done by the end of the year. I hope. It's been like 3 years that I've said that, but finally, I gotta get it done. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for the 150,000 followers, by the way. Oh my God. I don't know why. I don't know how, but you guys like what I do. So thank you. I appreciate you. Oh, show the show page. Cool. So there is the whole page. Yeah, I'll take a picture and post it on my Instagram if you guys want. That way it's easier for you guys. Is the live recorded? Yes, it is recorded, and it will be uploaded on YouTube in 2 sections. It'll be split up between our little animal drawings that we did, and we'll post that one up separately, and then we will post the stages of learning, which will be a more important lesson. But obviously, for the reasons being, most people will not watch this video. They will watch the animal one, but they won't watch this one because it makes them feel called out. And I've had that experience with a couple people. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit. If you guys do feel like you guys get any value from what I do, please consider buying my books. Books! I have books. They are called Art Block. And they are awesome videos. Like, they are essentially doodles like these that we do every single day and all the explanations that we talk about. And that's just the way that I essentially survive. So if you guys buy my books, you guys essentially pay my salary because I'm learning how to be a book publisher through my own self. So I'm learning through work as well, just like you guys. Woohoo. But I have a lot of experience in book publishing, so I have really cool books for you guys. So go check them out in my link if you guys are looking forward to coming up with something cool that is going to look really cool on your tabletops and help you as well. That being said, though, I'm going to go because I'm tired. It's late. I've been drawing for 2 hours and my arm is numb. Plus, I got to draw. I got to find some Post-its so I can make a Post-it note drawing today. And yeah, you guys seem to really like those, so I'm going to keep on doing them. Some people think I'm drawing on cheese. And that's funny to me. But anyways, have a wonderful night, everybody. Take care. And as I always say, love a little, live a little, laugh a little, and draw a lot. Take care, everybody.